Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Thank you for tuning in. Bitcoin price, I think it should be 2019 high, by the way. Bitcoin price should struggle around $6,000 before moving higher, according to Mike Novogratz. The billionaire CEO of Galaxy Investment Partners, LLC, said Bitcoin was the only store of value while the rest of the cryptos still had to prove their particular use cases. That gave Bitcoin a certain edge over the market, which, upon testing a technical barrier at 6,000, could explode towards higher upside targets. Mike himself, quote from Novogratz, Bitcoin is worth $100 billion. It's a social construct that made it worth $100 billion. It's pretty effing cool. Like a self-fulfilling prophecy, I feel better about Bitcoin today than I've at any time in my career. Well, Novogratz's statement came just hours before the Bitcoin price broke above the 6,000 level. Okay, and then it talks about this summary for today. Skip that. Here's a bit of a chart, as you can see, up and down for about 1 or 2 weeks, but really actually did shoot up 2-3 weeks back. It started going up, and that got the excitement in the space again. This is important to note. According to Novogratz, there was still a possibility of the Bitcoin price pulling back below 6,000 to neutralize its overbought conditions. Novogratz agreed but maintained his long-term bullish stance for the cryptocurrency. Among the reasons for his confidence was an increase in regulations and inspections in the wake of growing crypto frauds, as well as institutional adoption by the likes of Fidelity Investments and social media giant Facebook, which was reportedly developing its own stablecoin. And I actually made a video about that the other day, and I'll include a link to that as well. Kids are buying into crypto. It's good to see, and just my quick input here, it's good to see youngsters, teenagers, and just getting involved and showing some more positivity. And I want to throw in that this is a stark contrast to the most famous investor in the world, Mr. Warren Buffett, who is repeatedly attacking Bitcoin, and he's very skeptical. In fact, it's quite ironic because he praises blockchain technology, but he detests Bitcoin, and I assume cryptos in general. There's a quote here from Nishal Shetty, the CEO and co-founder of WazirX Crypto Exchange. He says, and I do quote, "So this time Mr. Warren Buffett compares Bitcoin to seashells. I have great respect for him, but looking at his history with tech," he cites Google and Amazon, "it's safe to assume tech's not his strongest point," end quote. I agree. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Warren himself has said that if you don't understand stock or whatever asset you're investing in, then I guess don't invest in it. But what's ironic is, well, not ironic, but what I find somewhat irresponsible, immature, you could say, is that you shouldn't criticize something you don't understand. That's what I've come to learn and appreciate. It's just respect people's decisions for doing it, whether you agree with it or not. But just comparing it to seashells, I mean, I don't know why these analogies from someone like him, from a bright person like him. I just don't get that. Anyway, I want to move on to in the title. Could it possibly return to its all-time highs? And I actually found this article from Captain Altcoin. I've never actually read anything, so I found this article from Captain Altcoin. The market predictions, according to some of the major players in the space. John McAfee, and I'll talk about him a bit later on in the article. I'll mention him a bit later on in the video. 1 million by 2020. He's infamous for saying, and I kid you not, he said, and it's been widely reported that if Bitcoin does not hit 1 million by the end of 2020, he will eat his own genitals. And I think he said he would even do it live on air. I kind of hope, I hope for myself and everyone else involved that it does hit 1 million next year, but I also hope for him that it does, because I just don't want to witness that, let alone think of that. I had to throw that in there. He's quite charismatic. Willy Woo as well. He's been in the space. Willy Woo is also very upbeat about Bitcoin really taking off and getting some momentum. Mike Novogratz, who we heard from before, also very positive, generally speaking. Tom Lee, he says the current fair value is somewhere between 13,800 and 14,800, which he believes might increase and reach $150,000 per coin. Strajner, pardon my pronunciation, expects the Bitcoin price to hit 200,000 by the 1st of Jan next year. Well, that'll be nice. There's an article with that too. The list, so a few different options here, a few different price predictions, and it's very wild, as you can see. It fluctuates. People give their own input based on highly varied values here, going from 2,300 up to 200,000, and then we've got John McAfee at 1 million. I still think it's a bit crazy. To wrap up the discussion with the Bitcoin price here, now, as we can see, the market cap, it hit about 800 billion overall at its peak. The beginning of this year, it was hovering at about 130 billion. Dipped a bit, and now it's on its way to going up to about 200 billion. I really hope, and I'm going to make a prediction here, I believe by the end of this year, 2019, that the market cap will get to about $570 billion. So, by the way, before I continue, none of this is legal, tax, and or financial advice. Any predictions or opinions I give are just opinions, so again, do your own research. I think now is not a bad time to buy Stellar, and on top of that, I think XRP, because it hasn't really moved much, in fact it's dipped a bit, I would pop a little bit of money in, only whatever you're willing to, whatever you can afford to lose. So something to keep an eye out for. Moving on to the next article. John McAfee is in the news again. Binance hack, unless you've been living under a rock over the past day or two, literally, and you haven't followed the crypto space at all, then it's most likely you would have heard about the hack that occurred with $41 million of Bitcoin being stolen. Actually, here's a bit of an update too, just from a couple of hours ago. It's been moved to 7 addresses, and they're, trying to track where it's gone. And I know actually there was an interesting point made by CZ trying to, he spoke about potentially trying to reverse a portion of the blockchain, or trying to reverse the transactions to then retrieve the funds, so to speak. But then, because of the costs involved and it being a very, very complex process, he decided not to proceed with that, but it's just an idea that came to mind. So I'll include a link to all of these articles as well in the description. Back to John McAfee, done well as a cybersecurity expert over the years, and has his own brand, the McAfee internet security and antivirus software. So he has decided to offer his expertise to try and help out CZ, which is good. Something positive. It's better than just mudslinging and people having a go at each other. It's positive to see that he's offering to help. So a quick summary here. On May the 8th, 2019, when John McAfee addressed CZ on Twitter and offered his cybersecurity expertise. And he says in a tweet, and I do quote, "If I can help at all, please let me know. Underneath my clown suit is still one of the most experienced cybersecurity experts on the planet. I've been doing it for 51 years. I'm at your service." CZ, he took up the offer, and then it will be interesting to see what comes of that. There'll be a bit of a follow-up, I reckon, in the coming week or so. So stay tuned for that. McAfee released his own tweet saying, "Hackers," and I do quote, "Hackers are the dark wizards of our age. Now is the time for my cybersecurity peers to prove they are wizards of the people. I challenge my one-time awesome and fearful competitor," and he's saying Eugene Kaspersky, "to join me in offering support to CZ Binance and all the rest of you." So, in spite of John McAfee's kind offer, fortunately, so Binance has stated that the 41 million Bitcoin that have been stolen will actually be covered under insurance, and no one who holds a Bitcoin on the exchange will be no one will have lost any Bitcoin in their wallets as well, because apparently 98% of the Bitcoin, or I think the funds in general, are stored offline in cold storage. Nevertheless, it's always advised never to leave more than you're willing to lose on the exchange. But yeah, it's good to see at least there's others in the space helping out, and some positivity to reflect on. Unfortunately, I think regulators will kind of see this as a red flag, and they'll be less likely to fast track any Bitcoin regulations anytime soon, so to speak, and therefore this could potentially delay the adoption of Bitcoin futures and trading from more institutions moving forward. We'll find out. That's a wrap for the video. Thank you very much. I know it's a bit longer than usual, but there's been a lot to cover, and I do apologize. I didn't make a video yesterday. It's been a bit hectic recently. I just want to say a thank you to everyone who's been tuning in and watching the videos. I actually had a look through my video analytics, and it looks like my crypto friends in the USA have been showing their support and watching quite a few of my videos, and have watched several minutes of them as opposed to my counterparts in Australia. So thank you to everyone in the USA who's listening, and everyone else around the world too. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in staying up to date, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon if you don't want to miss out on any content that I make. Feel free to share this video with anyone who you believe will benefit from it, or anyone who is interested in this or might be interested in getting into crypto as well. And again, feel free to like it and comment if you have any feedback or anything you just want to say. Just say good day at all. That's fine with me. Thanks again, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Take it easy. See ya.